Welcome to MOVIED. It is a podcast about movies. Today we are going to discuss the top 10 movies of the year according to MOVIED, Craig's 5 and my 5.
Yeah, well, we'll see what mine ends up being.
Yeah?
This is a struggle, Jake, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about why it was a struggle.
Okay, I look forward to it.
MOVIED!
So you didn't rank yours. You didn't do a 1 through 5.
Well, I did. I told you I wasn't going to, but I kind of forced myself to, but I also made 2 other lists.
Oh, okay, cool. So
Yeah.
This is our top 5 movies that came out in 2021, that were released to the public in 2021. And I know sometimes with festival, use the premiere as like the out date. I'm using available to the public in 2021 as the cutoff. That's how I made my list, at least.
Okay. I made my list by Googling release date, and the ones I picked said 2021, so I didn't have to worry about it.
All right, rock and roll.
Yeah.
So do you have anything to say about 2021 or movies or anything about the year before we dive into this?
Yes, I do. First,
all right.
Disclaimer for those watching on video, I'm drinking from a bottle, but it's not alcohol. I have publicly announced that I'm quitting alcohol for a year. This is a non-alcoholic, point whatever percentage alcohol, but whatever, that doesn't matter. And it's a non-alcoholic
hypocrisy on display.
Non-alcoholic beer that I'm drinking, and it's yummy.
It actually says non-alcoholic right on the label, right at the top there.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Yeah, the people watching on WheezyNews will actually have seen that label, and also on Spotify, because now Spotify is doing video podcasts, so you can watch us speak instead of just listening to us speak. It's not what I do with podcasts, really, but it's an option for you now.
Technology has finally evolved enough that we can do podcasts and video at the same time.
We were on the forefront of that, though, because these have been on WheezyNews for a little bit now. I have one question about movie-going for you in 2021.
Yeah.
Given that we are still in now our second year of the pandemic, did you see any movies in the theater this year?
I saw 2 movies in the theater. Unless I'm forgetting one, but I think I've seen 2 movies in the theater. The Quiet Place 2.
Oh, sure.
Because it was early 2021 when vaccines first rolled out, and we thought it was kind of over. And I'm like, all right, might as well go. I went by myself. I hadn't seen the first one, but it was the only movie that looked any good to me in theaters at the time. So I watched the first one that day, and then I went and watched the second one. And I liked it. I liked it better than the first one, actually.
Yeah, I think it was better than the first one, too.
Yeah. It did not make my list.
I ended up going to see quite a few movies in the theater, and most of the time it was not even like, you're worried that you're going to be in a crowded theater, or someone's not going to that other people won't be taking it as seriously as you're taking it. And most of the time it was in nearly empty theaters that I went to see these movies, and that is, I don't know what that means for the future, but we'll see.
Well, the second one I saw was Shang-Chi.
Oh, sure.
And I also really liked that. With regard to movies in general in 2021 and the future of movies, right now, because it's the end of the year, and now all the really well-reviewed, critically acclaimed movies are rolling out, and I haven't seen most of those, so they're not going to make my list. There's a lot that I want to see. And it seems to me like there is more that I want to see this year than it was in previous years.
The thing that worries me the most is the December box office about movie going in general going forward, or theatrical movie going, I should say, because streaming is safe. It's safe as a motherfucker. The thing that I'm worried about in terms of theatrical movie going is that the only thing really cashing in at the box office is the new Spider-Man flick, which I would like to see.
Yeah, even West Side Story tanked.
Yeah, West Side Story, Matrix, but again, you have the HBO Max deal, so who knows how much of that. I mean, that's where I watched it. I watched the new Matrix on HBO Max.
But it was also very well publicized that wasn't going to be like the other Matrix movies. Like, it was going to be something else, and I think that might have that's why it didn't have the same draw as the other Matrix movies.
It still had a lot of hype, and it's like film Twitter's on fire right now because of the Matrix Resurrection. So just the conversation would have driven people to the theater, Anyway,
but maybe not like the general public the way that the other Matrixes do. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, great directors have had movies come out in 2021 and just tank, go to streaming the earliest possible to kind of like capitalize on the marketing push that they did for theatrical. Like, it's like, I mean, Edgar Wright's movie tanked. Guillermo del Toro's movie's not doing great. Joel Cohen has a Macbeth movie out right now, not doing great. Like Spielberg, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's temporary. I think a lot of the reason is just because people have refrained from going, but will go back again. I do think maybe there is permanent damage done. I don't know if it will ever get back to the level it was before.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll be this bad forever either.
No, I also don't think it'll be this bad forever. But like so let's look forward to the future.
But with regard to movies in general, besides just theater and box office, I think there's a ton of great movies.
Oh, I agree, dude. I agree. I saw so many good movies this year.
Yeah. And part of my struggle with, I have a couple issues with my struggle with deciding the top 5. I texted you saying I can't put them in order because none of them to me have jumped out as like obviously the best one.
Right.
Like I can't say, like the ones that I'm going to say, I don't really believe that they're like the absolute best ones. I can't say. I don't know. Because they're like some years there's an obvious one. Like Get Out to me was like, this is clearly the best movie maybe ever made.
And Spider-Verse like just blew up your world too. So that was not even a question.
But this year I'm looking at my list and none of them are like obviously the best, and also I like them for different reasons. So it's really hard to put them in order.
Well, there's a lot of like really interesting movies too. And so my list I looked at my Letterboxd. Okay, so like I catalog every movie I watch all year long. And I've seen like 220 something movies this year or whatever.
Wow. You've seen way more than I have.
So, you might have seen more than you think, and you just don't use Letterboxd, so you don't know.
I definitely didn't see that many, and I'm sure I've forgotten some, but no, I haven't seen that many.
And so, like, there are movies, the 2021 movies that I watched this year, some of these didn't even make, like, 5 stars that are on my list, but, like, I chose the ones that I remembered watching and then it sticking with me, like sticking around in my mind, talking to other people about them, like, and revisiting them. And those are the things that I think really rose to the top for me this year just because of their stickiness in my brain, you know? So are we going to go 5 down to 1?
I think all of the ones on my list are that way. They're sticky in my brain. Well, now I'm looking at it, and one of them, I liked it, and I was only reminded of it when I was just like Googling 2021 movies. Yeah. And maybe I'll remove it. I don't know.
Well, so like one on my list right here, like hit me in a big way. I talked to a lot of people about, and then completely forgot existed until I went through my Letterboxd. But so it's number 3 on my list, and we'll get to it. But like,
wait, we're doing top. Okay, yeah,
top 5.
Well, here's I have a top 5 just fun comedies. Yeah. And then I have a top 5 that I loved and thought were great that I wouldn't necessarily want to watch again.
Okay.
Like, yeah, no, I mean because they're like heavy.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. The only other thing that I did is I did my 6 through 10. I just grabbed I didn't order them or anything. I just was like, oh, these are the other 5 that I would put in my top 10 for the year.
Yeah, and then I just randomly looked at the 2 lists and then compiled a list of 5. So,
okay. So we'll hear your other selections of comedies and good movies that I wouldn't want to watch again.
Yeah.
At the end here.
Yeah. Although one of them, I feel like I mislabeled that good movies I wouldn't want to watch again, because I definitely would want to watch some of them again. It's just I just like them for different reasons.
All right. Why don't you kick us off, man?
Number 5. It's a movie I just recently watched. Don't Look Up.
Ah.
Yeah.
That is also, like, between Resurrections and Don't Look Up, movie Twitter is on fire.
Yeah. Did you see Don't Look Up?
I haven't seen Don't Look Up yet. Tell me about it.
Comet is coming to Earth, and Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence are trying to convince the president, Meryl Streep, and her son, Jonah Hill, and everyone that something needs to be done, basically. And it's directed by
Adam McKay.
Yeah, Adam McKay, who did The Big Short and Vice. I loved The Big Short. Loved The Big Short.
I loved The Big Short too.
And Vice got like pretty bad reviews, and I watched it. I liked that too, and I didn't understand it. Don't Look Up has bad reviews. Like from the top critics, from the not from the audience reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but from like a lot of top critics, it has bad reviews, and I don't get that either.
I'm seeing a lot of. Talk about audience reviews. The Twitter sphere, it's at least half and half, if not more negative, like fiery opinions.
I think I do get it, and it's the same reason that like Vice didn't get a lot of good reviews. It's because which I tweeted about. You probably saw my Twitter thread about it.
I don't think I did.
I think to certain people it's going to be totally weird. Vice and Don't Look Up, because they're like trying to make a serious political argument, but also at times just funny.
I like that. I like the idea of that. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. Liza and I watched a trailer for it, and I thought it looked really fun. So we're totally going to check that out.
It depends on your reason for watching it, if you're going to like it, I think. And that's why it gets bad reviews. But I feel like you'll like it. If you like all those people, you're going to like it.
Awesome. All right. So my 5 position is held by a movie called I Blame Society. Have you heard of that, Craig?
I don't know.
It is my most obscure selection. 2021 is weird for me because after I got vaccinated, I kind of ended up joining like a little movie cult in the city. And I Blame Society is one of the movies that I saw because of that, where it's just like a weird little movie watching society in the city of Chicago.
You took me to that cult, and it was very weird. You sacrificed several goats, and
you loved it. You loved it.
I know, I absolutely loved it.
The night we went down, we ended up staying until we didn't get home till like 3:30 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah, we were just hanging out.
Yeah, it's just so anyway. I Blame Society is by this writer-director named Gillian Wallace Horvat, and it was written by her and this guy named Chase Williamson. And it is. I'm not a found footage guy. I don't really like found footage movies, but it is that format. All right, she's going around taping herself. One of her friends told her in her real life that she would be a perfect serial killer. And she was like, oh, well, that's interesting. And so she interviewed her friends and family about whether or not she'd be a good serial killer. And then she took the fictional approach to like, she's a person who really wants to make a movie. Nobody at the studios or production companies are giving her the chance to make a movie. So she's going to go out there and become a murderer and film the whole thing. It's very Heathersy. It's like she stars in it herself because she's just filming herself, and she's always rolling like 3 cameras. One's an iPhone, one's like an actual, like, I think it's like an A7 or a Sony AS2, and then there's another one, like a GoPro or something. Yeah, a GoPro that she wears on a headband on her head the whole time. And says so much about like the narcissism of creators and the desperation of wanting to make something, even if it's at the detriment of others. Like, it's really, really funny. It's really weird. I just loved it. I watched it a couple times. So I didn't even see it at Analog. I went to go see a movie there, and had started earlier, and she was just there doing a Q&A. So I like saw the Q&A. Rob and Tam were there with me. She did a great Q&A. I was like, I have to see this movie. I went home, rented it, have watched it a couple times. I really loved it.
Well, good. That does sound like a Jake movie to me. Yeah. What's your number 4, man? Number 4, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay. I heard about that movie. I have not seen it.
Yeah. I saw it way, way, way back at the beginning of 2021. You know, when all the critically acclaimed ones come out at the end of the year or at the beginning of next year, a few of mine are part of that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen the new ones that are rolling out now. So these are the beginning of the 2021 ones. Because I saw it a while ago, I don't remember a lot of the details.
Yeah.
And it's on the list of movies that I don't necessarily want to watch again because it's stressful and sad and disturbing. But really intense, really, really good, really well done. It's about a leader of a local chapter of the Black Panther Party in Chicago, and a guy who is recruited by the FBI to pretend to be a part of it undercover. Daniel Kaluuya, I can't remember the other actors' names.
He is one of my favorites, and I can't think of his name right now. I love him. I love him on Atlanta. I love all the
Lakeith Stanfield.
Lakeith Stanfield. Oh my God. He is so amazing. Everybody do a deep dive on his like YouTube interviews because he's so interesting when they interview him, and his fashion's incredible. Lakeith is just a presence, man. I love him.
Yeah, he was incredible in it. And Jesse Plemons. Jesse Plemons is the FBI guy, and Lakeith Stanfield is the guy going undercover, and it's intense and good. And I would watch it again, but I don't. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna seek it out because it doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For sure.
Very good. Mm-hmm.
Okay, my number 4 is Fear Street, 1978. Directed by Lee Janik and written by Janik and Zach Olkezwowskis. I don't know how to say his last name. But did you hear about the Fear Street trilogy? Fear Street, 1978.
Okay. I think you told me about this.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones that I just kind of chatted about to people for a little while. It's the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
So I never read any of the Fear Street books growing up or anything. I don't even know when they came out. It's so basically Fear Street was like an anthology horror book series for young adults, I believe. I haven't looked into this at all, so could be complete misinformation. But in the summer, they released a movie, Fear Street 1993? 96? Anyway, 1990 something, and it was great. I loved it. It was totally 90s teen slasher cycle, and it spoke directly to me, right to my little heart. I was like, this is fantastic. I watched it. 2 weeks later, Fear Street 1978 comes out, and then you kind of like to start to see a link develop between 99 and 78, and they start exploring, like, it's a camp slasher movie is what 78 is, which I love. I love camp slasher movies. And it's set in 1978, so it's like right at the prime time of the camp slasher, or just set just before it, because that's really an 80s slasher cycle. Neither here nor there. They start to kind of deviate. It's not just slashers. There's another mythology that's creeping in there. And then the last one is like Fear Street 1666, and it's not as good as the other two, but it wraps up the story nicely. And I love the whole trilogy, but 78 was the one that I really, really liked. Great teen actors in it. They're amazing. Really well shot. Super fun for anybody who likes horror movies and especially slasher movies.
Jake, your horror is showing.
Yeah.
Number 3 is No Sudden Move.
Oh, sure. Again, did not see it.
You didn't see No Sudden Move?
But another HBO Max drop. Yeah. No, I didn't.
Soderbergh.
Yeah, no, I know. I didn't feel
Soderbergh,
like
Jake.
I didn't feel like it when it came out, and then other things were going. I had to watch Fear Street 1978. I had 3 Fear Street movies I had to watch, Craig.
We did a whole episode about Soderbergh.
Yeah, I love that epised. It's great.
Well, you gotta watch No Sudden Move.
Nobody's got to do anything.
It's number 3 on my list.
Okay, you're starting to convince me now. I do respect your opinion.
Okay, I think on a technical level, it does something weird that I have mixed feelings about, which is it's very, very wide angle lens, like throughout.
Yeah, I like that.
But it's like it's odd, but I like it. It doesn't really bother me, and it's just an incredible crime. It starts in one place and then it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and grand reveal of like kind of like a Chinatown style. I mean,
that sounds great, and Soderbergh is a master at that. So like, I don't know why I wouldn't watch this movie.
I don't know why either.
I have no idea why I'm never gonna watch this movie, Craig.
I know, but you've chosen to ignore it forever, and I get that because it's not horror, and I feel like as you get older, you're getting harder into horror.
Well, yes, no, that's true. I am going way hard into horror, but it's also because once you have a kid, you have to get really choosy about what you're gonna watch, and so all my non-horror viewing has dropped considerably, so that I can watch the horror that I would usually watch.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your horror number 3, Jake?
It's not a horror movie, although it is pretty horrifying. I certainly felt weird during a lot of it. My number 3 is Bo Burnham's Inside.
Oh, you're counting that as a movie.
Oh, that's a movie.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I mean...
How is that not a movie?
How long is it?
It's feature length.
Is it really?
Yeah. I loved Bo Burnham's Inside. He had me from the beginning, man. As soon as that opening shot where... Hi!
Hey, we're in the middle of a podcast.
Hi, China.
I know, I'm trying to be quiet and
But it's also video, so...
Are you actually streaming?
Yeah, no, but we're recording.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
Hey. This is my wife, everybody.
I'm gonna take the baby monitor now.
Quick, top 5 movies you saw in 2021.
From 2021.
First one is I. Second is Don't. Third is Remember. Fourth is Any. And fifth is Of the Movies That I Saw.
Oh, I was hoping 5 would be an actual movie. That would have been great.
White Christmas.
Okay. Yeah.
So Bo Burnham's inside just starts with him sitting alone in this dark room, and he just turns on, funnily enough, like a headlamp, which just like what Gillian Horvat was wearing in I Blame Society, except not a camera. And halfway during his song, he like tilts his head up, and it hits a disco ball, and disco ball lights go all around the room, and I was like, this is amazing. This is perfect. And then he does a series of songs and bits of songs, and you kind of watch him kind of unravel a little bit, like over the course of spending a year by himself in this house, which turned out to be the house that, which Nancy's house from Nightmare on Elm Street. That's where he was living. That's great. There is a horror connection, Craig. You were right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny. I thought it was touching, beautifully executed, and it showed you what someone can do all on their own, given enough time and determination.
Yeah. You threw me for a loop, and I was thinking, oh man, I would put that on my list. But I'm still going to stand by, I don't think it is a movie. I wouldn't call it a movie.
Okay.
But
I guess you have different rules than the rest of the world.
Wikipedia calls it a special.
A
So
Netflix
there.
special. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then my third movie of the year is a Netflix special.
Okay, that's fine. No, but hey, you can call it a movie. We just disagree, but I don't think either one of us is wrong. Number 2? Oh, by the way, Inside is great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The songs get in my head all the time, especially, should I stop trying to be funny? Should I give away my money? No! It's good. Number 2, Promising Young Woman.
Okay. So, see, this would be my number 1 movie of the year, except it was released in New York and LA in 2020.
But you just said that doesn't matter.
No, that wasn't the premiere. That was released to the public in 2020. It's fine. You keep it on your list. Like it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. When I was looking up release dates, I saw a release date December 25th, 2020, and I was like, oh, that's probably a premiere date or something. That's just like right at the end of the year. Come on.
Yeah, they dropped
But
it.
I guess it's just Christmas.
They
Yeah.
dropped it to the coasts.
You know what? You're right, Jake. Promising Young Woman is out.
Okay.
It's out. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I thought it was released in 2021.
No, that's fine.
Or I
That's
thought
fine.
it-
It's
the
absolutely
premiere
it is absolutely the best movie I saw this year, just not in. It wasn't released in 2021, according to my very rigorous standards.
Okay. I'm going to replace it. I'm replacing
Okay.
it with The Suicide Squad.
Love the Suicide Squad. I loved another HBO Max one. They've really got your number this year, man.
First of all, I got to clarify, because you release a video on your channel every year where everyone says their best thing they saw this year, thing they read, whatever. And then in that video, I will say, or had said, depending on when this comes out, The Suicide Squad was my best. But now that I've done more research and thought about it more, and also you talked to me on a different day, I might have a completely different opinion, because this year was weird. The Suicide Squad is my number 2 right now.
Yeah. Well, I expected you to say the Suicide Squad just one number higher, because I watched you say it on a video that you sent to me several days ago. But that video will come out on my channel shortly, and now you'll all know that Craig is lying to himself when you see that video.
Yes.
I love the Suicide Squad. It's light years better than Suicide Squad,
Which
the David Ayer joint.
never saw.
It's not good.
I've heard
not good.
Heard so many people say it's so terrible. I never saw it. The Suicide Squad was, when it came out, I'm like, I guess it seems like people are like it. I guess so. I'll check it out, and I liked it way more than I thought it would. It had no business being that good. It had no business.
James Gunn is perfect at creating like beautiful, really hilarious, wonderfully stylized, graphically violent superhero films. It's like
It also had heart. It also has heart.
That's the thing. He's doing Guardians of the Galaxy, but this time he gets to have it be as violent as his as he wants it to be, because it's the Suicide Squad.
It is very violent. Yes.
It's so violent. And that sequence, dude, the Harley Quinn sequence with the
flowers,
with the flower sequence is
God.
Incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
Eliza hasn't seen the Suicide Squad, but she has seen the flower sequence of the Suicide Squad, because I was like, you have to see this, hon. You have to see this.
Yeah. Oh my God. I want to watch it right now, actually, now that we're talking.
I might rewatch it tonight.
Yeah. I have only seen it once, so I should probably rewatch
So good.
that.
It's funny
hilarious,
because,
and it's hilarious.
Suicide Squad is when the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn came to be. And you have seen Birds of Prey. We saw it in a movie theater back in the glory days. And you have now seen the Suicide Squad. You just haven't seen her introduction. And I don't think you need to.
I won't. I also didn't really like Birds of Prey that much. So.
Oh, I really liked Birds of Prey a lot.
I know.
We had a fight in the car on the way home afterwards about it.
Yeah.
As we do.
It was just really good, okay? And I'm probably going to watch it again.
Okay.
All right. Your turn.
I'm sorry. Okay. My number 2 movie is another bizarro choice. Watching this movie, I never would have thought this would be on my top of my list, but I talked about it so much with people, especially with the Mommy Network that kind of Eliza knows. My friend Taylor is kind of basically a mom lifestyle Instagrammer, basically, is her brand. We watched it on the same night, bizarrely, not talking about it. And then she was like, have you seen this movie? And I'm so glad I had someone to talk to about it. I'll just tell you what the movie is, Craig. How about that? Okay. It's called Shadow in the Cloud.
Oh, yeah. I watched some of it. And China was in the room and she couldn't handle it, so I stopped watching it.
Yeah. I love this movie. So that movie is written by, it was directed by Roseanne Liang and written by her. She rewrote an original script by, unfortunately, Max Landis. And that is what Shadow in the Cloud is. Mm-hmm. So Chloe Grace Moretz is this woman in World War II times, and she's running. She has to get to a plane. She gets on this military plane. They're going on a mission, and she's like, I am supposed to be here. Here's my letter. And they're like, you're not supposed to be here. And she's like, I'm supposed to be here. Look at my letter. And then they seal her in the gunner seat underneath the plane to kind of just there's no other seats. There's no other seats. And then they start trash talking her and just being a bunch of fucking douchebags.
That was the whole sequence where I had to turn it off.
Right.
Yeah.
So over the mics, she's just listening on the headphones in the gunner seat, and they're being awful, and you get a lot of information. The conversation is really great. It's really tense. It's so tense. So tense that China made you shut it off, which is just goes to show you how tense this thing is. She sees on the plane, running around the outside of the plane, a gremlin. I mean, not a Joe Dante gremlin, but a gremlins used to take down the planes kind of gremlin. It's out there, and she's trying to tell them about it, and they think she's a hysterical woman, so they're not listening. So much. This is so brilliant. So much of this movie takes place with just Chloe Grace Moretz in this gunner seat, and it's tense and it's scary, and then a bunch of CGI outside on the plane, and so. Watch it on the smallest screen possible so that all the CGI holds up. I haven't watched it on a big screen, so I don't actually know. All that stuff is great. And then when she finally gets up to the plane, they've spent hardly any of their budget so that they can do spend the entire rest of their budget on the last 20 minutes of the movie. But it's not one of those movies either. When people say that about a movie, I get all oh God, so now I have to sit through how long to get to the good part of the movie? And that's not what this is at all. It's unbelievable how much tension they were able to kind of squeeze out of just one person sitting in a gunner seat with a gremlin running around outside the plane. And then the end, the ending of the movie, I'm not going to tell you, Craig, because you should see it sometime. Okay. It's so hysterical and glorious, and it's the thing that Taylor and I talked about most. And she, after watching that movie, Instagrammed a story with just the post of the movie and being I never want to watch any other movie but this glorious feminist text. And it does some real goofball shit too. It gets goofy.
Well, I like goofy.
You do sometimes, but it's this. They push the action a little too far, beyond belief, but it didn't push me out. At that point, I was just that's fun. So it depends on if you can follow it as far as the action wants to go.
Okay.
Highly recommend on Hulu. Watch it.
Okay, number 1.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I saw this before I shot my video for you.
So you've seen this in the last couple days.
And I saw it like 1.5 times because China fell asleep and then wanted to finish. So I watched the rest of it with her again. Free Guy.
Oh! Free Guy! I love Free Guy. Free Guy is on my 6 through 10. I have watched that movie twice too, Craig, in the last month. Free Guy is so fun. It's so fun.
I would say it's like perfectly tightly written, the best that Hollywood can be. You know, it's just like hilarious when it's supposed to be hilarious, and it's just got heart. Takes you on a ride that you don't want to stop.
I love it. It is very, very tightly written. It's kind of perfectly toned.
Yeah.
It's Truman Show meets Ready Player One.
It's Truman. It's many things. It's like Truman Show meets Ready Player One meets Groundhog Day meets They Live.
Yep. Ryan Reynolds is so adorable when he's like the wide-eyed optimist. Like, whenever he plays that character, he has my heart.
Yeah.
And I love being around him as that character.
Yeah.
And Jodie Comer, she's so cool.
Yeah.
She's so cool. Did you ever see any of Killing Eve?
I did. Yes. I've seen a few episodes.
Villanelle,
I liked it.
She is the coolest.
Yeah. And Taika Waititi.
He is hilarious. He's almost the one that goes too far for me.
Oh yeah. I think he's over the top, but I enjoyed that.
And Stranger Things guy is really good in it too. I don't know his name.
His name is Stranger Things. No,
Stranger Things.
His name is Jean Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
That's not John Ralphio.
I know, but he looks just like him. They've made that joke together before.
I love Free Guy. That's a great choice, Craig.
Yeah, there it is. My struggle here is like I'm comparing Free Guy to. Well, I thought I was comparing it to Promising Young Woman, but Free Guy to like Judas and the Black Messiah, and it's just like, how do I rank these? You know?
Yeah, that's a good question to have, and I understand the struggle of it, but I always have to prioritize selfishly my viewing experience and how much I want to tell people about it.
Yeah, with Free Guy, I feel like it's so tightly crafted that I didn't feel that bad about putting it at number 1. So.
Yeah, but it is like ultimate popcorn. It's doing exactly what it means to, and it's so fun to be a part of.
Yes.
So my number 1 movie of the year was Zola.
That's on my list to watch. So,
I love Zola. Directed by Jenixa Bravo and written by her and Jeremy O'Harris. And based on a series of tweets, right?
Yeah.
Like this woman who works in a restaurant, waitresses, and then also strips on the side, meets somebody at her job, and the next day the woman's like, they kind of hit it off, and the next day the woman texts her and is like, let's go dance in Florida. We can make some good money there this weekend. And she ends up agreeing to go. And the movie is so funny, so insanely tense, and it is so stylish, Craig. It's so stylish. And
like me, you know how much
exactly
style.
like you. Everything I just said just applies to you as well. Taylor Page and Riley Keough are amazing in it, and you will not. Riley Keough is physically recognizable, but she is so different than anything you've ever seen her play before. She's amazing. They're both amazing. The whole movie is amazing. It's like one of those things, you turn it on, you're captivated by the style and kind of the bizarre little world you've ended up in, and then it just goes and it doesn't stop, and it's funny and it's weird and it's sad. It's also really, really foul. So be ready for that. All right. Be ready for that. I mean, it's
like me.
Yeah. It's a deep dive into a weird Insta strip culture. So
like
there's a lot of
like me, yes,
like you. There's like a lot of stripping and eventual hooking that goes on in it.
Is this movie about me? I guess.
It's basically like watching Craig's diary unfold in front of you.
Yeah, I want to watch that. That's on my. I have a big list. I started making more lists of movies I want to see and shows I want to see. I've been writing them down more now than I have in the past, so I don't forget. It's ridiculously big, the list of things I want to see, not the things I have seen. And that's on the list.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, that's the top 10.
Are we doing
That's
runners
the top
up?
10 of us. We are. We're gonna do the things that you wrote down. I'm gonna let people know what my 6 through 10 are.
I have the 2 lists, and then I also have some runners up that aren't even on those lists.
Okay.
So, I have 2 runners up that aren't on those lists. Shang-Chi, which I mentioned,
Yeah.
I almost put on one of the lists, and 8-Bit Christmas, I almost put on one of the lists.
Yeah. You loved 8-Bit Christmas.
Loved it, but I'm stepping away from it because I realize I'm just too close to it because it's my childhood. So, so I'm not putting it on the list. Even
so, 8-Bit Christmas is your childhood, and Zola is your present day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm giving 8-Bit Christmas more time before I really know how I feel about it. But it's pretty darn good. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did watch it. I liked it. It was really, really cute.
Wasn't it your childhood?
Not exactly. No. But I mean, I was very emotionally affected by the woodworker father stuff because my father's a woodworker.
Yes.
And I love Steve Zahn, who plays the woodworker.
Yep.
And I love June Diane Raphael, who plays his mom in that.
Yeah.
It's just it was a really good time. That movie was a really good time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Christmas story with Nintendo.
It's that. Yeah, exactly. That's also why I didn't really put it on the list because it's like nearly the same movie. But you want to give me a few?
Oh, sure. So I'll just do my 10 through 6. I'll go backwards, and then we'll do some of your list. My number 10 is a movie called The Night House. That is a horror movie.
It definitely sounds like one. I think you talked to me about this before, too.
Super scary. Really, really beautifully shot. Rebecca Hall's in it. I love her. I think she's so cool. Ever since I saw her in Iron Man 3, I started looking what other movies I could see her in. The Night House is just really, really well done. And it's spooky, and some people are out after the end, but I love ghost stories, and it was very effective, very well done. My number 9, Single All the Way, Craig.
Didn't make my list.
I know it didn't.
So far away from it.
I love holiday rom-coms, like the straight-up ones that people call the cheesy Hallmark holiday rom-coms. Liza and I watch as many as we can. Netflix is crushing it. It's, you know what? Oh man, Single All the Way is a better movie, but Princess Switch 3 is incredible. They really did it with Princess Switch 3. Because they focused on the right character, the Vanessa Hudgens that is kind of the bad girl, and then they also make it about a jewelry heist with Mission Impossible tech. It's fantastic.
I saw your tweet about that.
It is glorious.
Do you need to watch the Princess Switch 1 and 2 to see 3?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, not really. They are all very different movies. Well, no, 1 and 2 are pretty much the same. 3 is the real gem, but Craig, you won't like it. It is this kind of movie that you just cannot. You get so bored during them.
I probably do, but not all of them. Sometimes I like them.
No, these are straight genre, cheesy rom-com movies. This actually throws a little more family drama in it than the other two had, which is a solid move and actually kind of tugs at the heartstrings. But it's wacky, dude. It's like it's not for you. It is not for you.
Okay. Well, when you say stuff like that, that makes me want to watch it more.
Okay, great. Well, enjoy.
No.
Single All the Way is the choice that ended up on here, though, because it is exactly those Netflix. I mean, it is a Netflix movie. It's those Netflix holiday rom-coms. This dude is going back to his hometown to be with his family. The family is like totally on board, trying to get him to marry his roommate.
Way too much. Anyway.
No, it's super cute, and they all love the roommate. The roommates come home with him several times, and they all love that. But they try to set him up with this other guy who's like a very nice trainer at a gym, but they don't connect in the same way. Then the roommate and he are like, are they gonna actually get together? And then will it ruin the friendship if they do? Will it not? Like, I care about this because I care about human emotions, and Craig just does it.
I just don't care that much about people whose lives are mostly fine, and we just have to worry about them having someone else around,
I know. No, I know. You want, like, a plot. You don't want to just watch characters, like, feel things.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, yeah.
I think that's what most of our arguments come down to about this genre in particular. You're like, nothing happens. And I'm like, yeah, that person was worried about this thing. They tried it, it failed, and then they had to feel a new way about it, Like... It's all about just people feeling things. That's what the whole genre is about.
Well, yeah, but it's also like it's people who also their lives are fine otherwise. Like they're just feeling some extra stuff.
Yeah, no, that one part of their life which is important to them is missing. They don't have the other half, you know, the piece the missing piece.
I mean,
be with
I
forever.
like movies where there's, you know, people want one thing and it's something missing in their life, but I guess I don't really care if they hook up with somebody, you know?
Yeah, no, I know. It's just not for you. It's just not your kind of movie. Anyway, so those are my 10 and my 9. What else is on your list? I'm so excited, Craig. These little fights that we have, they're so elemental to us hanging out, talking about movies.
Yeah.
And they get cut out a lot of times. And that one wasn't too bad, so we can keep it in.
Yeah. Well, let's keep that fight in. The not comedy list. Okay. Promising Young Woman, which is void, null and void.
Great movie.
That was
best.
That was number 1. Number 2 was No Sudden Move. Number 3 was Judas and the Black Messiah. Number 4 was Nomadland, and number 5 was The Dig.
The Dig. Okay, so Nomadland definitely was released to the pub. Well, no, actually, it might have been dropped on Amazon after 2021.
Yeah, I think the only one was Promising Young Woman that said 2020 when I was looking things up.
The Dig was Carey Mulligan too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Carey's big on your list this year.
I guess so. And I mean, I don't really think about The Dig that much, but I remember really when I was looking up 2021 movies, I'm like, yeah, I liked that one. I liked it a lot.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Oh, we had a double wife drop in here tonight on the old podcast.
Oh, hello, double wife. Nomadland.
You're doing video too, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Nomadland is great. Like Frances McDormand is amazing in it. I love the idea. I love what they tried to do with it. It's not fun really. It's not like something I really want to watch again. But
yeah, I liked it though. It was a good look into that life.
Yeah, and The Dig is like a good World War II drama, but it's not doesn't take place in war. But it's like it'd be hard to sum it up. But anyway, your turn.
You saying it doesn't take place in war makes me realize how often on this podcast I say I don't like war movies. And Shadow in the Cloud, technically a war movie.
Yeah.
It's more of a Gremlin on the Plane movie, though.
Yes. That could probably take place anytime.
My 8 is Werewolves Within.
Mm-hmm. That's on my list because you told me about it, and that sounds like a horror movie that I would like.
I think that one is like, because it's funnier than it is scary.
Yeah.
It's like a true comedy horror movie.
To circle back to our other conversation about Single All the Way and me in general, I really think something that is important to me often with movies is that they're funny. Like I like humor a lot in a movie. Yeah. And the jokes just do not land in Single All the Way most of the time. It's like they set up something for a joke and then the delivery is like so wrong. It's just like it sucks the humor out of it because everyone's just saying it with a smile and a wink and like saying too much afterwards to like make no punchline happen, you know?
Yeah. They're saying it perfectly in tone with the movie that they are making because that's how all the lines are delivered in all of those movies.
Yes, that's true.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I liked the family. Like overselling them on the roommate. Like, and the roommate was so like I don't remember the actor's name. I don't remember the character's name. I just remember he was so charming. They're taking those photos for the ad campaign, it is so charming and light and fun.
This podcast is turning into all about Single All the Way. But I did not like how the family was so overbearing about trying to make him date this guy. And the dad calls the guy a 10. Like he refers to him as a 10. He's a 10. If my mom or dad told me that someone was a 10, like that just would creep me out. That would just be like, it'd be so weird.
I like it.
Yeah, I understand. Sorry, I had to. But it's mostly about the comedy. Like that's why I'm intrigued by this horror comedy because.
So the only reason I told you specifically about it is because I feel it's akin to the kind of thing that you would make. The lines are written well, but then they're delivered better, and then you can feel like lots of little ad-libs thrown in. Like anytime I've shot a Wheezy Waiter video, kind of the way you just be like, now say this, or you try alts, you know, like just in a row. And everybody's really fun. They're kind of caricatures of like small town folk, but like they all believe it so hard that it's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And man, I loved it. I loved all the actors. I had such a fun time. I watched it 2 times in a row. I watched it. I finished it. Before the rental period ended, I had Eliza, when she came home from work, I was like, we're going to watch this again. I'd watched it the night before. And
I'm going to
really
be up late tonight watching this and watching The Suicide Squad again and watching the rest of Shadow in the Clouds.
It's just the one cloud, Craig. Shadow and the cloud. Just the one cloud.
Okay.
Yep. My number 7, we don't have to spend any time talking about, because we already done it, Craig. It's Free Guy.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
I love Free Guy, yeah.
Okay.
Well, what's on your comedy list?
Comedy list is 1, Free Guy, 2, The Suicide Squad, 3, Don't Look Up, 4, Barb and Star, Go to Vista Del Mar.
I loved it.
Yes.
It was so funny.
Yes.
Like, that's kind of what I expected Bridesmaids to be, like that kind of tone from Kristen Wiig.
Oh,
and then
it's much more ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then I expected Barb and Star to be Bridesmaids toned. And when it was like Austin Powersy, I was like, let's do this.
Yes, that's the perfect comparison. It's like Austin Powers. She even plays 2 different characters, one of them the villain.
I couldn't believe it was her for so long. I fought it in my brain. Every time she was on screen, I was like, that can't be, is it? It is. It can't be.
Maybe the best part of the whole movie. There's many, many good parts of that movie, but the sudden music video in the middle, where the dude, the love interest guy.
Yeah.
He just starts singing, and there's this bonkers music video for
That's
no
hilarious.
reason.
That's hilarious. Now I want to rewatch Barb and Star.
I saw it twice, and then so now you have 1 left, and I have 1 left to say?
Yeah. My number 6.
Should we say them at the same time?
No.
They might be the same movie.
They're not the same movie.
Is yours a horror movie?
Yes.
Okay, then they're not the same movie. Okay.
Let me go first. We'll end on a Craig one.
Okay.
My number 6 is another movie that blew up. Well, it blew up film horror Twitter, and half the people were like, I hate this. And the other half were like, what you talking about? This is a blast. And it's a little movie called Malignant. Have you ever heard of Malignant, Craig?
Yes, we talked about it for my horror video.
Oh, yeah. It was, you cut it out. But yes, we did talk about it during that time.
I did cut it out.
It's another drop to HBO Max. It's James Wan, master of horror, did The Conjuring, the Insidious series. He saw one, James Wan. And people expect from a Wan movie that kind of like creepy dread, like the crazy like horror set pieces, beautifully executed jump scares. Malignant is his raucous like pizza movie, like the kind of, it's like a sleepover movie, B-movie VHS. Like, he is doing it, and right from the first scene he lets you know what he's up to when they're like, the scientist is running through the halls, and the guy's like, it's like she's controlling the electricity, and then he's running, and they get into the lab, and she's like, it's time to cut the cancer out. And then it cuts to this like opening title sequence, and then like I knew exactly what was happening the whole time. People are like, the twist. Even me knowing what was coming up, because it's based on a lot of things that I've already seen and read.
Yeah.
The same idea. But the way that the twist appears is beautiful. Okay. And it's so insane. The fight choreography at the end of this movie is rad and insane and wonderful. I loved Malignant. It was almost in my top 5. That's why it's sitting at 6.
Is it, compared to the other of his movies, is it his best?
No, God, no.
Oh, wow.
No. It's just so much the other direction. I would actually love to sit next to you while you watch Malignant, Craig.
Okay.
I am going to bring Malignant to your house as soon as we can be in the same space again.
Okay, we'll watch it. My number 5 of my comedy list is a movie that you made me watch.
Uh-oh.
Shiva Baby.
Oh, really? Shiva made the list.
Yeah. I liked it a lot, but it almost was on the other list of a movie that I don't necessarily want to watch again because it's very tense.
Yeah, it is very tense. The comedy comes out of a deep tension.
Yeah, it's hilarious, and I didn't expect anything. I didn't know anything about it because you showed up like, we're gonna watch Shiva Baby. I'm like, what is this? It's probably dumb. No, I didn't. I don't think I said that.
I think we ended up watching it because the first night, we were at your place for a couple nights when we all thought the pandemic was over, right? Mm-hmm. We watched Bo Burnham's Inside.
Yep.
And then the next night, I was like, I've been hearing stuff about this Shiva baby business.
Yeah. The next night, I was like, I don't want to watch another Netflix special. I want to watch a movie. Yeah. Yeah.
You dick. I love that. That's so good.
And well, it's a really good movie. It all takes place at a funeral, right? Like a party after a funeral.
Yeah, it's the
party,
Shiva.
Or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's called the Shiva.
The Shiva, yeah.
And the family's supposed to sit Shiva, but this girl, they don't. I'm sorry. This is you go ahead. This is yours.
No, you go. I think you would probably remember it better than I do.
Her family doesn't know that she kind of has, like, she's a sugar baby. Like, she has this guy who that provides for her needs, and she's kind of his sugar baby. And so she goes to this Shiva, and her sugar daddy ends up at it with, his wife and child. And tension.
Yeah, a lot of family tension.
It was good. I liked Shiva Baby.
Yeah. Now that we talked about it, I think I could watch that again. It's not like that's why it made the comedy list, I guess, instead of the other one.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming by and putting us in your ears and potentially your eyes. You have the option now. And that was us checking out what we watched in 2021, what our favorites were. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you want to check out some of them.
If you consume this at a place where you can leave a comment, do not comment a movie that I forgot that I saw that should have made my list.
Yeah, actually, that would be great too, guys. If there is a comment section, or like follow us on whatever your preferred app is and leave us a review on iTunes. That is the one or I guess it's Apple Podcasts or Apple, yeah. So like that's where you would leave your review. That apparently every podcast I listen to says it helps a lot to get those reviews. So I trust them.
Yeah.
And we are a very safe podcast to follow. We're not going to be cluttering up your inbox.
No. You will forget we exist. And that's what you want. That's what you want.
Like a nice little year-end surprise, we'll drop in and give you a list.
Who are these guys? Whatever. Okay, let's talk about movies. This has been fun. It's always fun to have a reason to talk with you, Jake.
I love talking movies with you too, Craig. I also love arguing movies with you.
I love it.
It helps us understand a little bit more where each of us is coming from on this crazy, crazy journey as content creators.
That's right. I feel like I'm a better person because
you are a better person
I know
because
you
know me. Yep, you are better. You're better because of it. It's true.
Yeah.
We will see you whenever we next get around to this.
Yeah, we won't probably see you, but
no, but you can see us now thanks to Spotify video.
Mm-hmm. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oh wait, and scene.
Movie. Oh yeah, we have an end tag on this show. I totally forgot we have an end tag on this show. Nicely done. We would have been podcasting forever, Craig, if you hadn't said it.
I would have been walking around tomorrow at my family's house celebrating New Year's, thinking I'm still in a podcast.